Alright, stream is up. Let me give it the old announcement. Was it LCG Watcher?
Yeah, LCG Watcher.
No, League Watcher.
Yeah, LCG.
League Watcher.
Yeah, League Watcher.
Close Magic Arena. There we go.
Sucks so much. I have to switch from Mac to Windows to play Arena, so I just never do it.
I mean, I just don't play it on my laptop, but obviously my desktop is Windows, so.
Makes sense. I need to get.
I mean, you could boot camp, but that seems like a lot of work just for something that is okay.
Yeah, I have actually boot camped it just because there's just randomly a lot of things that you need a PC for, and it's really easy. So.
Well, technically, a Mac is a PC. PC is just personal computer.
It's really easy. Windows is just really easy.
Sorry, that's just me. That's my professional side chiming in, as I worked with computers for like 7 years.
It's too bad we're not playing against. We're not watching a dragon matchup, so I could call Agasha and Kitsuki.
Yeah, I would just ask you which card you're referencing. That's all.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I think our viewers would like to know also. But we do have Kyuden Bayushi played by Kevin versus Unicorn played by Anfalas. We're gonna go with that pronunciation.
Yeah. This is actually a pretty good opening for Kevin. Cow is pretty good against Unicorn.
So we have Seeker of Fire coming from Unicorn, so no Keeper Initiates, and is he playing Unleash the Djinn because of fire, or is he playing? Oh, he's playing Feast or Famine. Okay. So
Unleash the Djinn as well, right?
he could, but he's not playing it. And Kevin is playing Seeker of Air with this really weird Kyuden Bayushi deck. I'm excited to see how it plays, but it has some weird cards in it, like Acclaimed Geisha House.
I actually I like that deck.
Oh, sure. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it has some cards I've just never seen.
Yeah, I like the Geisha House. I think that it's useful in Kyuden Bayushi.
It's a holding. During a conflict, dishonor a friendly participating character. Oh, it's just another way to turn on Kyuden Bayushi.
Yeah, and it like switches the ring, which is nice.
And then, so Kevin's deck, it seems like it's tuned more towards killing larger characters or clearing the board, with 2x Kami Unleashed and 2x Mono no RA, along with the Geisha House to get extra Void Rings. And then you have Hige's Sermon and Noble Sacrifice to kill / bow large characters. So I definitely like the way he has approached it. I think it's a really good, strong meta deck.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that like this is not a great first hit.
But he had Upholding Authority. This is what. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Albi Artist is a better card than Bayushi Liar.
100%. And if anyone tells you otherwise, they are wrong.
They've never done this before.
Yeah.
And so Kevin plays one of his assassinations. Arash can be turned up. Okay, let me. Dustin, let me know if this increases his volume or decreases his volume.
I think in general, Neil has just set me on low.
No, I have you at 97% in Discord volume, and that's actually higher than most people.
All right, I like that. Okay, I mean this is actually a pretty okay hand to get UA'd.
So did he just play his one dupe? Oh no, he has a dupe of Hige's Sermon, but like that's not like a super important card. I think you just take the Edict, right?
I'd take the Edict, yeah. That's what I would take as well.
Yeah, and that's what we see.
This is a pretty good hand. He just got rid of an assassination.
It's like a medium hand, right? Like you've already played your assassination now.
You have the Way of the Scorpion. You have the Goblin Sneak. That's decent.
I mean, you have three relatively bad cards in this matchup with the Sermons and the Mono.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, and the Collector isn't even that good in this matchup. Like in terms of stats to like the matchup specifically, it has 1 military stat for 2 fate. Sometimes you can pop off a Curve Blade, but like it's still a big fate investment. Like this hand is without the Edict, it's just not that strong. But like obviously, it's I think the Sakao is gonna hold a lot of weight in this matchup here, especially especially with the Shameful hit. Shameful's kind of awkward in Kunbaishi because you want your characters to be dishonored to stand them, but then also they gain honor tokens.
It's just such a good. I mean, so good with Crane Splash, you sort of have to do it.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's sometimes awkward. And then here's the Goblin Sneak we were talking about.
Yeah.
What's with Field of Ruin? Is that even in this deck?
He has
Oh,
3x Field Run in this
oh,
deck.
the Unicorn has Field of Ruin.
Yeah.
What does this do? After the conflict phase begins, discard each card in attached province. Presumably for Crab. You could
Yeah.
even use it against Dragon, like to ditch Proving Grounds. It's like
Yeah.
I don't think it's a very good card, but I don't think it is unplayable. I think it's too narrow for me to include in one of my decks. But I can see
He
why
has
somebody would include it.
here.
What's up?
He has a couple of spicy 1x's. Yeah, the open hand, speak to the heart, one never yield, and 2 Maramoto Fury as his restricted list choice.
I definitely would want. Well, he's playing Seeker, I guess, right? So he can't play 3.
Yes, right.
I would
Oh
definitely not.
wait,
I would not be playing the Speak to the Heart.
no.
I
Yeah,
think
I
one of
want
the big advantages of Unicorn is you can be hyperlinear, right?
yeah. I like a lot actually for the stronghold push, and Way of the Open Heart is also fine for the stronghold push. But one Speak to the Heart, I feel as though you could use just the 3x join the phrase, and that'd be better.
Well, you can't use Way of the Open Hand on Stronghold. It says during a conflict against a non-Stronghold province.
I didn't realize that. I didn't fully read
Yeah.
it. Okay, then I don't really like this.
I am okay with one Never Yield, especially with Dragon being on like Duelist Training and Void Fist now. You definitely can mess up some of their plans. I would definitely like to see a third join the fray, as that is one of the most explosive cards Unicorn has to offer.
Yeah, I agree. This was actually pretty good for Kevin. Holding off to only one break is pretty neat, and then this Dispatch Nova is actually pretty good. It forces him to overfate, right?
Yeah, so we saw the sneak come in, do an attack against Fertile, and then we saw Attestin ready a Youth to just get a free break on Shameful.
Yeah.
And we did see a Spoils of War, which let him discard Let Go, so that's very, very good.
Yeah.
Kevin's playing no attachments? No, Kevin is also playing three Attestin, which is, I guess, I mean, you can play Let Go on it, but also, who cares?
That doesn't do much. Oh, it does kind of stack up with like a Dishonored Sadako or whatever.
Oh, sure. I mean, the ready is obviously the important part, but
Yeah.
so we see Dispatch to Nowhere just gets snapped off on this Alton Sarnai's Vanguard.
I think that's fine.
You're trading one fate for one fate and action for action, so you're just pushing, which is fine. I mean, maybe you're supposed to do something different, something else, and see if your opponent buys one of these Border Riders and no fate.
So Kevin does have an assassination in hand, and he still goes for a 5-bid. Okay, cool.
This is definitely Kevin's main game plan is Stronghold Break, Dark Black, 100%.
Yeah.
He is he's playing Seeker. He's not playing Shoju 2. Like he's not playing any of the big dishonor tools.
No, I just thought that he might go a lower bid so that he could comfortably assassinate. Um,
I think you can assassinate at 6 pretty comfortably.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, if your opponent one bids you here, then you don't even need the assassination, right? Like that's the thinking.
Yeah.
So like
Really
if
bad for them to
yeah, so
one.
if you 5 to 1 here, you'd go down to 2. You were at 7, right? So you go down to 3, and your opponent would have 10 cards in hand. So like you
Yeah.
just don't play you just like have a
Yeah.
one dead card in your hand or whatever, right? Because he only has 2 copies of assassination, and they're both in play.
Yeah. I think Kaiden Baishi can only really run 2 copies of Assassination. The third one is really sketch.
So you play the third one to see it, and then you just use your filtering to get rid of it. Is I guess
Yeah.
would be the logic.
Yeah. It's still like, yeah. I think having 2 means that you see 1, and you can reasonably play 1 Assassination.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
This row is actually pretty nice. This Fertile Secret Cache affected
I
Deception
mean,
Muff.
being able to play Seeker rows have always been better. So I think people have just forgotten it because Keeper is so in vogue right now. It's just people forget how much better the Seeker rows are. And
I feel
so,
good to get a money and be able to trigger secret cash. Like holy fuck.
man, imagine if secret cache was still restricted like it should be. I guess this would be manicure garden and still be good, but I hate this province. This is one of
It's
those.
pro-
This is one of the provinces when you attack it, you just groan. It does it gives you a big groan.
yeah.
So we see a sneak outside the conflict. So Kevin is just, I think, sacrificing this
Oh, he's
province.
going to wear the scorpion and move to Cowan. He's probably going to assassinate this Yasamura.
Why? Takao got stealthed. Okay,
Yeah.
is that better than playing the
I
goblin sneak into the conflict?
don't know.
I guess you just get 3, and then you can have your sneak do your military, and you're not forced into water.
Yeah.
So there's the
Yeah, so
assassination you were talking about.
then yeah. Then you sort of force him to play cards, right?
Yeah, your opponent's on. Yeah, so like playing the sneak at home would make sense if your opponent was on keeper and you didn't want to get defender honored. But also we're not. We're on seeker, so I think I
Yeah.
prefer playing the goblin sneak into the conflict, and then I don't care if I lose this firing, right? Like, so I would just play the sneak and force my opponent to play cards and just look to prevent the break as opposed to win, because your
Hey,
Takao on offense is better.
that is other. He just used the fate. Oh, Shinjo Ambusher. Okay. This is okay. I get wanting to break this, but like knowing his hand, you're not going to. Like, it's because he does have wear the scorpion,
And
and
Takao in play, right?
yeah, so it's just not going to happen. So spending money on this, spending an ambusher, and effectively meaning that this is the only attack you do in the turn, feels really bad.
Right. So if Kevin had just played the goblin sneak into the conflict, it's just be 4-2, and he can just pass here, right?
Yeah,
And you don't have to play this way of the scorpion. Because the Takao on offense represents a break without playing a single card.
yeah.
So I think we're
I
gonna see a move in now, though.
have to. You do want to leave them to only have one attack.
Well, he's only
Oh,
gonna
I
get a
guess
one attack any. Oh no, I mean the border
it's
rider.
a good
The border
rider,
rider can
yeah.
stand, right?
Yeah,
So you were always gonna get 2 attacks.
yeah.
You're not gonna get the third. I guess if you win water, you could get a third, but not that useful.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's Takao moves in here, and then like I said, Kevin just doesn't care.
But I would assume.
Sure, I think playing the goblin. I think playing the goblin sneak into the conflict is actually less of a risk than doing what he's doing here, Mark. Because also, if you have to move in, you deny the HMT trigger because you'd have 2 characters, and then you just do political water fertile fields with your L5R artist.
I don't love this. Okay, I mean, fine,
Th-
whatever.
what else is there to calling in favors? Like, there's no Barcha or anything big, right? And Curve Blade it
Well,
doesn't
now
work.
he's gonna drop down his Bayushi collector and get rid of this curve blade. I would assume.
Now that's what we're gonna see. I think, right? You play collector with 1 fate.
Would you play the collector? I would actually consider playing the collector into the conflict.
Yeah, you just want to. You can deny the HMT trigger, right? And then your opponent has to do a political conflict with a dishonored border rider.
That just feels really bad.
Um,
Oh, but he doesn't put him in the conflict. Okay.
maybe he just assumes his opponent will play captive. I don't know. I just like making my opponent spend cards, I guess.
Yeah.
So yep, gonna. So killing the curve blade is net -2 because you gain 1 from the token. Okay, then we just see a second curve blade.
It's a lot of expenditure.
Yeah, I mean, but we're still even on cards, right? So like in terms of expenditure, you're keeping up with Scorpion.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is that this Takao was Yasamura. He can't defend again.
Which is fine, right? Kevin has no fate. Oh, we see
Ooh,
from the shadows
Sadako.
Sadako. This is strong.
This is nice. I like this a lot. And From the Shadows is so good. Security trigger with it as well. Yeah, this is a good line.
So Kevin's gonna get 2 breaks here, um, and then his ring choice should be Earth and Air, I think.
Yeah, I agree. see a case for the alibi artist going water to stand it to cow and just being okay with one.
Why your Sadako can be stood by Kudenbayashi for a break, so you can get a break on you can get a break with on Paul with alibi artist plus your collector,
Yeah, that's true.
and then your
Yeah,
mill break can be your sneak plus your Sadako, and then so you get two high impact rings. You can air ring for +2, and then you earth ring. Obviously earth ring is just insane. So there's the spoils of war, discards field of ruin.
So does honoring him kind of makes me feel as though he doesn't have the captive?
I mean, you could still have the captive, and just want to have more stats. I think I would go Earth here
Yeah, which he does.
first. I would not send my Sadako. I would do my Paul attack this way. I guess maybe you're just gonna take your break then on the next attack on the counter attack. I guess if you have edict, you're safe this way.
Yeah,
Unless
I
your opponent
mean,
obviously has double captive, that would be that would be worst case scenario.
yeah. Sending the Sadako here because
I don't know. She's just like a huge amount of stats that you can use on defense.
yeah, I agree.
So yep, gets the free break.
The other way of doing it is to just not defend the Border Rider attack and just go for triple break and be on Stronghold next round. You have massive board advantage.
Well, so you can't, because if Border Rider does air, you go to 1 and then you die to Sadako leaving play.
Yeah, you're right. It says, "Oh, he doesn't have any money." Yeah, you're right. So you have to defend this, and you have to defend it with the collector.
Collector, because if you get captive audience, you die. You die.
Um,
Well, I guess if captive audience resolves.
I would like to see the dishonor token go on a courtier, although I guess he has two. So if he has a forge, he's going to get at least one forged off. Okay. Doesn't care. He is giving up this break. I think that's fine. This unicorn player is in. He just doesn't have board and he doesn't have money, and they're on parity for breaks. So this just feels really strong for Kevin. Probably go. I don't know. I guess I'd go water. It doesn't super matter. But water gets you the favor, so that's what I would do. Cesar. Oh, Konzerdu. That's the worst one. Okay. That's annoying. He's gonna trigger it, right? Yeah, cool. That sucks. Good province for next round. That is slightly awkward because it gives him the
money.
it gives him the money, and Anfalas now gets the
Well, Anfalas can't do an attack, right? Because he never triggered HMT.
right. He still gets a favor going into next round, right?
Does that matter?
I don't think Kevin is on any amount of cent share.
Yeah, because he's not playing. He's not playing any. He's not playing. It's not that. It's He's not. He's not a shoju deck, right? So he's not. His fighting for the favor isn't gonna be as strong. And even if he gets the favor with opposing shojus in the meta, like it's a meta call. If you include no censures in a deck that could reasonably play 1 or 2, it's because you just don't want to have them dead against the mirror.
I agree with that.
And IMS is, I think, the predominant choice out of Phoenix. So that's another matchup, right?
Yeah. Although I think that you can do.
I mean, you can only fight Favor against IMS with Sadako, and that involves her not attacking also.
Oh yeah, giving up one attack. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and
Um,
even then, like, Sadako doesn't beat IMS trigger on a 2 glory character, right? Like,
no, it's a losing proposition for sure.
so I think in terms of meta, I think playing no censures is fine. I would also have accepted playing 1.
Could have even seen two because it is really good against Unicorn.
I think two maybe is getting to the territory of like you start living and dying by your niece. I guess in this case it's Master Whisperer.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like there's the extra copy of assassination you want to start discarding. You basically need, and and then in certain matchups the monos are dead cards. Like, so you just gotta kind of pick and choose how many cards you want to like put in the niece bin, right?
I agree. Um, this turn he's going to play Hige Sermon.
Yes, I would agree with that. So he is gonna get uh his. I mean,
Oh,
is
yes.
that even worth it?
I mean, he just doesn't get an attack with this guy. He has to play a conflict character. He's already used.
Well, he didn't play it, right? Like,
Uh,
Hige Sermon has to be played during the draw phase or whatever, or is it at the beginning of conflict?
might be the beginning of conflict
I don't
phase.
actually know what this card does.
This card is bad.
I don't think it's that
Um,
bad. I just don't think it. I don't think it's good enough. How's that? It's good but not good enough. One of those cards. During
yeah.
the draw phase, yeah, it is an action in the draw phase, so he has to play it now.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I agree.
Field of Ruin gets attached to Shameful Display, which will then kill the Sabuki. That's pretty cute.
It is cute.
It's cute, but man, a card and a fate. Whoa, that's a steep price.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that he should play Hige Sermon here. He has two of them in hand. Choose.
You're trading 5 for 3 and banking your opponent not to have a single conflict character, which maybe like mathematically might be the right play actually. So your opponent has played 2 out of their 6, but they've drawn over half their deck.
Yeah. Also banking on them not having a join the fray. I mean, I guess you still need to initiate combat with join the fray.
Oh, chat's telling me that Field of Ruin is free if it's on a broken province. Oh,
Oh,
that
okay.
that is true. So
He does play it.
that cost I think is actually fine then to kill the Ibuki.
Buki can be a really big deal.
It's just a stand plus big stats, right? Like, so you
Yeah.
take away. It's also an option, right? You want to take the option away. This yurt is pretty troll, right? You kind of want to use it to see a new card in their province, but also you don't want to give your opponent honor here.
Just money it.
Do I want to give my opponent money too?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean,
So here's what I think. If my Scorpion opponent wins air and gains 2, I would crack it for honor then.
yeah. I mean, but Kevin also sort of has to go air first, right? Air Paul.
Presumably, right? Presumably you cannot stop a military attack.
Yeah. You don't want to give him the option to join the fray with this whatever the fuck it's called, and then just Shitomi encampment. I would actually probably send maybe just the collect. No, I like this attack because you want to break the Konzerdu and sort of force him to play the captive in order to prevent it. Although he could also play Murmur's Fury. Furies from him actually. Really would not put money into this. That kind of feels bad. but I think you just sort of take the win here, get the 2 honor. Unless there's some way for you to. There's no way for you to dishonor, is there? No. In play. I think this is cool. Yeah. Nice. So that's really huge for Kevin. He gains 2 honor. Shitome encampment breaks. So he is not as worried about the crackback. So he's looking right now for maybe like 1 conflict from the opponent's side. Honor somebody, and like the vice proprietor here automatically turns on Takao, and despite the fact that Takao is bowed, he still at least can move in to deny an HMT trigger, which is pretty good. Finding effective deception is really huge. Effective deception is a kick in the balls, whereas fertile fields, I guess fertile fields is not bad. It's a money and it's a
It's a
card.
money and a card, right? Like so.
Yeah.
I mean, both provinces are. You have to attack fertile fields though, right? Effective deception is just like you can't afford the resources.
Oh, because you don't want to play the second ambusher. The third ambusher?
It would be second actually. So I guess if you have
Yeah.
ambusher, it's not the worst.
Yeah.
But also, if you don't break it, you are really behind.
Yeah. And he just goes mill water at fertile fields.
I don't know.
Right?
Breaking this is a hefty proposition, right? Like you're giving your opponent up to 3 fate, and now they're gonna go up to 10 cards.
Now, if he has the second FTS for Aramoro here, that could be really bad.
That probably just gets you killed, right? Because then you could just stand Aramaro and then on the stronghold attack Sylvian approach him.
Yeah. I kind of would have vice proprietored here, but he knows better than me.
Presumably Kevin just has the From the Shadows with this block.
Also want the Forged
We
Edict.
see Join the Fray on regulars. I think you have to edict this, or
So
you.
the pause means that Kevin has an edict, right?
I mean, presumably it means he has an edict. However, you could just always pause there, even if you didn't have one, to make your opponent think so.
Yeah, that's true.
You should play like your opponent has one, right? Your opponent has drawn half their deck. It is reasonable for them to have seen 2.
Yes, I agree.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't. You should just not play your events. You should just assume something is going to get canceled.
Yeah, so you should maybe like tempt them with like a bonsai first.
Well, you tempt them with the Join the Fray, right? And then
Yeah.
you resolve cavalry reserves.
Yeah.
Like cavalry reserves for double border rider, double 1-drop is probably where you want to be.
Honestly, you could also just do shags and like this
Moto
yes.
Youth.
Yeah. And that would be
You
fine.
could do double border rider, Moto Youth, and Alton Sarnai's Vanguard if you wanted. So there is. Oh, we just see the break.
Yeah.
Triggers HMT, triggers regulars. We see Goblin Sneak take the last fate. I guess he's just gonna go for the strong.
Look, what do you mean last fate?
Not sorry, last fate's not what I meant. I don't know why I said that. So presumably he's just gonna edict the cavalry reserves on defense. This does stop double cavalry reserves.
Yeah. I mean, so here you attack the stronghold, and if you have a bonsai, you use it now.
Yeah, and then you just sure you can Europe for a fate to give yourself a second cav reserves. I'm just not gonna say cavalry.
Yeah. We sort of wanted to tempt him into playing like I don't know, if he plays Talisman, that'd be sweet.
Can't play Talisman.
No, you can't. So if you break here, it's fine, right?
What? If you break here, you win. So of course it's fine.
Yeah. I would actually just go aggressive. I would just like attack SBR and a calling in favors, I would probably go in Void. And theoretically, you could FTS the Aramoro and SBR on. Fire.
I wonder why he goes fire instead of earth.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that. Like Void.
So you could dishonor your own character to stand if you needed to.
Yeah, true.
You could honor your vice proprietor, so if he uses his ability, he won't be dishonored.
Yeah. Hmm. So then Anfalas needs another conflict character and 6 cards in order to.
Could use a Tessin also.
Yeah, that's true. Does he run how many? Does he run 3 Tessins?
I mean, presumably. We will check because we have the information.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
He needs to have a Tessin left.
Or a conflict character. He has 6 and he's seen 4. I mean, he could have just seen another conflict character.
Actually, yeah. Actually, only seen 3. He still has half of them left.
No, one's in play.
Oh, he got HMT.
Oh no, he got HMT. Sorry. Yeah. So he still has half of them, and he still has 3 Tessins left. So very, very. I would play like my opponent has one way to start a conflict.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
I
play
agree.
around 2 ways. I would play around 1 way.
So he has 2 more Join the Phrase in the deck. He has.
Well, technically, your yurt would have to give you a character to join the fray with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dark Black saying you could yurt into encampment just like a gigantic brain player.
Yeah. That would be such a that like.
That would be
God
insane.
mode.
I mean, it would be the last encampment too. Holy crap! How
Yeah,
giant brain would that
would
be?
amazing. Oh, yeah. I think. Does he have Rebels on box? Or does he have Rally? I think he might have Rally. Yeah, Rally. Oh no, Midnight Rebels. Shit, sorry. Predator.
Bows the youth.
Now it just comes down to how many reserves he has, right?
Yeah, and how many cancels Kevin has?
Yeah.
So this one puts in Shono, Moto Youth, and Altensarn as Vanguard. There's the edict.
Nice, nice.
So if all right, you're for fate here, and then we see another Cav reserves. Is that the Unicorn Dream?
Yeah.
He
Oh,
does
shit.
he does your for fate.
Oh
Oh
fuck.
no! Is this how Kevin dies?
Uh. Oof. Okay, let's see it.
I mean, he does have to show it to him. Because presumably, if you don't have it, you don't yurt for fate here, right?
He could have been yurting for it.
Oh, he
Nope,
does
he-
have it. He does have it. Oh. So then with the Shono activation, that's plus 3 more, so he goes to 12.
Holy fuck.
Is this the most? Force he could have gotten?
I think Shono probably is.
Yeah,
Right?
Shono represents 4 plus 3 is 7. Yeah.
What can he do here? He can FTS.
Well, presumably if he had FTS, he would have gone for a stronghold break, right?
don't know because
Because then if your opponent responds in a way to stop you from breaking stronghold, you just use.
okay, so he's fine. He's gonna FTSD Sadako. So he's
What?
at
I don't know why you wouldn't do that on offense and then force your opponent to play cavalry reserves on defense.
yeah. No, I agree with you.
I mean, this is he's still breaking.
Yeah.
This
Need
is
one more thing,
this is where
right?
the ring choice was also awkward, where you didn't get a fate from the void ring, and then also you're gonna get voided. Like your Alva artist
So
is gonna get voided.
just Kaiden Bayushi's for the +1/+1 like that.
Oh, that's world championship final play right there.
You know.
But then we see a bonsai coming out here on the Moto Youth.
Yeah. I mean, presumably he hasn't played like Kevin has not played a single bonsai. I think he plays bonsai.
He plays two.
Yeah. So
Well, he can't though. He can't though, because if he bonsais with kicker and then his Alva artist gets voided, he dies.
he does if he doesn't. No.
Sure. I'm saying if he plays bonsai, he has to not kick it and then.
Did he bonsai? Okay, good. He split the bonsai, which is intelligent.
Why?
Okay, that's a GG.
What? Why would
Like,
Why would it matter? Is Kevin even playing for shame?
isn't he?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Hmm.
Kudenbaishi has a lot of non-courtiers.
You're still running Forged Edict, right?
Yeah,
So
but
you still have like
he's not playing any for he's not playing any for shames.
well, I think he took out the four shames for Hige sermons.
Yeah, like that's a slot there. And like
Yeah.
the monos and stuff. I was just like looking at the deck list and I'm like, there's just not room for four shame here.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was
That was amazing. That was the classic cavalry reserves, yurt for fate cavalry reserves.
yeah. That was good.
So that is I think that was that you kind of saw like Kevin had a lot of cards that aren't good in this matchup. Like Mono no RAs, Hige Sermons, like very low impact cards. Whereas if he was playing like a tower matchup, it would be they'd be better.
Yes, I agree. It's unfortunate.
Did he not have a Soulbringer approach out of did he not see a 3 of in half his deck? Because that'd be unfortunate. Because then you could have from the shadows your Aramaro and then used Aramaro on your stronghold attack.
I assume that if he had SPR, that's the play that he would have done. The other thing you can do is you can just kill the Shono, right? Um.
Well,
To
you could threaten the kill, right? Then you just play the bonsai. You play one of the bonsais on the Shono because you know your opponent's not on 4 shame.
yeah.
All right, so that's one match down in this Sweden versus Canada, or sorry, Switzerland versus Canada.
Actually, two. They've played a game.
I
Again,
haven't fixed the error sheet yet, so any games that have errors in them aren't fixed at the moment.
I believe Pugan already beat the Lion player Mog.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's just 1-1 now.
Looking around here, has USA played any matches yet? I don't think so, right?
We actually just played one this
Oh,
morning.
Jeremy's game, right? Did Jeremy win or lose?
Jeremy won.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a pretty interesting. It was a freaking dirty game. Most of our games actually are gonna happen. It looks like on
Yeah,
Saturday.
Jeremy's report has an error. I'm trying to figure out what it was. Um, it's for team name. Okay. I'll have to talk to Kratos on this one. We changed some of the names because some people signed their teams up with fucking stupid names. Arash.
What do you mean?
You guys submitted some weird name for USA instead of just putting USA, so it messes up the sheet because all the data is pulled from the forum.
America parentheses fuck yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you guys have to report your wins as that.
Okay, I will.
No, I mean, I'm just, let's find, if I change that, let's see what happens. Because currently, so what is it? It's Team America, and then in parentheses, fuck yeah.
believe so.
Was there
I don't.
was there an exclamation point? Yes or no? All right.